Everything you need to know about Aliko Dangote's $14 billion oil refinery project. In this video, we shall comb through every nook and cranny of the new project by the man who represents the African continent at the table of the Forbes billionaires list. We will bring you everything you need to know about Aliko Dangote's $14 billion oil refinery project. Aliko Dangote is currently the richest man in Africa. Dangote has stakes in almost every industry in the world, from construction, food processing, media, and many others. That is why it comes as no surprise that he is dipping his feet into the oil and gas sector to invest some of that billionaire money into it. In this video, we will bring out everything you need to know about this project, its progress, and obstacles. But first, let us look at the man behind the $14 billion oil refinery project. The Dangote Refinery is an oil refinery owned by the Dangote Group that is under construction in Lekki, Nigeria. When complete, it will have a capacity to process about 650,000 barrels per day of crude oil. Nigerian businessman Aliko Dangote unveiled early plans for the refinery in September 2013 when he announced that he had secured about $3.3 billion in financing for the project. At the time, the refinery was estimated to cost about $9 billion, of which $3 billion would be invested by the Dangote Group and the remainder via commercial loans, and was set to begin production in 2016. However, after a change in location to Lekki, construction of the refinery did not begin until 2016, with excavation and infrastructure preparation, and the planned completion was pushed back to late 2018. In July 2017, major structural construction began, and Dangote estimated that the refinery would be mechanically complete in late 2019 and commissioned in early 2020. According to Reuters, citing sources familiar with the project, construction was likely to take at least twice as long as Dangote publicly stated, with partial refining capability not likely to be achieved until 2022. An associated project at the site of the refinery, a urea fertilizer factory, was scheduled to begin operation in late 2018 and produce about 3 million tons of urea annually. Facility of the oil refinery. The refinery is situated on a 2,500-hectare site at the Lekki Free Zone, Lekki, Lagos State. It will process about 650,000 barrels of crude oil daily, transported via pipelines from oil fields in the Niger Delta, where natural gas will also be sourced to supply the fertilizer factory and be used in electrical generation for the refinery complex. The project is expected to cost up to $15 billion in total, with $10 billion invested in the refinery, $2.5 billion in the fertilizer factory, and $2.5 billion in the pipeline infrastructure. With a single crude oil distillation unit, the refinery will be the largest single-train refinery in the world. At full production, the facility will be able to produce 50 million liters of gasoline and 17 million liters of diesel daily, as well as aviation fuel and plastic products. Nigeria, a country of almost 200 million people, consumes roughly 35 million liters of gasoline daily, so the surplus production would go for export. The crude and unrefined oil, which will be processed in the refinery, will be gotten from Dangote's oil wells as well as external sources depending on negotiations made. Dangote has its own oil production, which will partly supply the refinery. It aims to pump around 20,000 barrels a day from two shallow water blocks known as OML 71 and 72 located in Delta State. In mid-2018, Deva Kumar stated that Dangote has been in talks with oil traders including Royal Dutch Shell, Vital Group, and Trafigura Group about them supplying crude and buying refined products, although no agreements had been signed. Dangote Refinery will transform Nigeria's downstream oil sector. The mega Dangote oil refinery will radically change the downstream landscape of Nigeria and enable vital import substitution. According to the company, the intent is for the refinery to satisfy Nigeria's demand for petrol, aviation fuel, kerosene, and diesel, leaving a surplus for export in each of these products. The project is regarded by many as the largest industrial complex in the history of Africa. As part of the overall infrastructure, Dangote had to build a port, jetty, and roads to accommodate the project. In addition, new energy plants running on natural gas are also being developed to power the refinery as part of the project. Dangote is also constructing the largest fertilizer plant in West Africa, with capacity to produce 3 million tons of urea per year. Aliko Dangote has stated that the ongoing investment in refining petrochemicals, fertilizer and gas is driven by the desire to bring innovation and efficiency into all aspects of Nigeria's oil and gas sector. He also said that the company is committed to the concept of energy efficiency and innovation in the oil and gas sector, and as such, the refinery is designed to meet Euro 5 grade, which is the highest standard in the world. Hence, all products will be able to be exported to any part of the world. Benefits the refinery will bring to the country. The importance and potential transformational nature of such an industrial development for Nigeria and Africa at large cannot be underestimated. For decades, Nigeria has been the largest producer of crude oil in Africa. It has always been dependent on import of refined oil products. The refinery, once completed, will have a huge impact in replacing those imports and consequently create a massive improvement in the country's trade balance and also boost jobs. The country's industrial development and the country's GDP are also expected to rise. The Dangote refinery will be able to meet the country's entire domestic oil demand as well as export refined products. The refinery will employ so many Nigerians as well as Africans. Around 7,000 employees are already working around the clock on the site, while another 900 Nigerian engineers and technicians are being trained abroad for jobs at the refinery. The refinery will also destabilize the corruption ring in Nigeria, where a few benefit by exporting and importing of crude oil and refined oil. The Dangote Oil Refinery will serve the Nigerian population better. Dangote also has a fertilizer plant complex which consists of ammonia and urea plants. With the facilities and infrastructures in relation to fertilizer production, Nigeria will be able to save $5 billion from import substitution and provide $4 billion for exports of products from the fertilizer plants. Thus, supply of fertilizer from the plant will be enough for the Nigerian market and neighboring countries. How the project will be financed. On the issue of finance, Dangote took on a $3.3 billion syndicated loan back in September 2013 for part of the refinery and fertilizer plant projects. The loan was arranged by Standard Chartered as a global coordinator and Nigeria's Guarantee Trust Bank as local coordinator. Some 12 other local and international banks were involved. Dangote is providing the bulk of the remaining project's capital. Dangote Industries Group Executive Director Devakumar Edwin recently said that both units of the refinery and fertilizer plants will probably be partly sold via initial public offerings. Major obstacles to the project. Due to financing by mid-2018, there were reports that the refinery plant would not meet its expected start date of 2022 for production, and one report suggested that the startup could now be 2023. This has been disputed by Dangote, but time has proven those reports true. Some analysts have been quoted that some gasoline and diesel production could take place by late 2022. Another obstacle to the project has been the elites who don't want the project to go through, so they may continue enjoying money from importing refined oil. Although Nigeria is a major producer and exporter of crude oil, it currently has 4 government-owned underperforming refineries with a combined capacity of 435,000 barrels daily. However, those refineries, 2 in the oil hub of Port Harcourt, 1 in Warri in the Niger Delta, and the other in the northern city of Kaduna, are all operating at less than 50% of capacity. Hence, the elites make money off of importing refined oil to sell to the population. Click on the video showing on your screen to gain access to more beautiful stories about the continent of Africa. Do not forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe. Thank you.